Yeah, you've voiced in a lot of high profile productions, but we've had dinner before, and you've had like one of the most interesting origin stories I've probably like ever heard for like a voice actor.
That's true.
Or like in the industry. So like, okay, first off, like. What was your childhood like? Let's go all the way back. Let's go all the way back to the beginning, man. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Let's just jump right into it, man.
Therapy session. I'm leading.
Therapy session. You good, man?
So
you
I
good?
was born. Yeah. So I was born in Asia, and I lived in a lot of the Asian countries when I was younger, like 3 or 4 of them. And it wasn't until I turned like 10 that I got the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to move to America. That's like striking gold.
Once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yeah. You go from poverty Asia, and then you go like to America, and then you go there, and you're like, what the fuck? They give out Shrek toys with your food. So it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go to America.
Yeah.
And once I was there, I had to learn English. And when I first came to America, I remember it was a very hard thing for me to do because I'd never spoke any English prior to that.
Right.
I remember my parents tried to get me into English programs, but they didn't realize that in order to get into English programs in Asia, you have to know some English. So they took me to this like prestigious place. They spent a lot of money. They're like, this is a lot of our savings, so pass this test, please. And I'm like, how? I never had any time to study, so I went there, and the first English test was like, name the anatomy parts in English. And I was like, I don't know anything.
What's the powerhouse of the cell?
I'm sorry, guys, it's over. And then, I failed, absolutely. So when I came to America, I only knew 3 words. I knew toilet.
Okay.
That's a good one.
That's okay. Useful.
I knew chicken.
That's great.
Also great, yeah.
It's a good food. It's a great food.
Yeah.
And then I knew tiger.
Okay, well, not so useful.
No, but it's cool. And that's why I knew it.
It is cool.
Tell me you're from Asia without telling me you're from Asia.
That's the only thing I knew when I was looking through the English dictionary. I'm like, this picture is
I'm going to remember this one.
So it's
I'll
like,
remember this word.
even before like hello, thank you, or like
Yeah.
chicken tiger.
Toilet.
Chicken tiger toilet?
Chicken tiger toilet,
So you
please.
started learning English later on. I think when I went to school, I actually de-learned or unlearned English.
Really?
My English is worse. I said
De-learned.
de-learned. A perfect example of how my English is terrible. That's impressive. How old are you? Sorry, when you started learning English then?
I was 10 when I started learning English.
Jeez. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Do you guys remember learning English? Because I think we all have a similar experience. Was English like the first language you learned, or was it Japanese?
Technically, for me, it was my second language, but
Yeah.
I kind of learned it at the same time as Japanese.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I learned Thai first,
Right.
and then because my mum was like, "You're gonna learn English in school,"
Right.
and I don't have like any recollections of this because I was like so young at the time. But apparently, the first day of school, I just did not know what was going on because I couldn't understand anyone. So I just fucking cried all day until my mum picked me up on the first day of
That's
school.
one way to do it.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it.
So presumably you speak another language too then as well? Or?
Yeah, it's kind of lost to time though. That's how it is. With
That's what America does to you.
Okay.
But I also had the same experience because they were actually going to put me in like 2 grades below because they were like, he doesn't know how to speak English.
Right.
Yeah.
And then my mom at the time, she was very gung-ho about me, being successful in school. So she was like, I'm ripping
Asian
this
parent.
shit up.
Like, nah.
She's like, nah, he's going to join the regular grade with all the regular kids and do all the regular things. Yeah. So I went in there with all these like American kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know anything. Yeah. So my first year was very hard. She she basically like locked me in a room and she was like, here's a YouTube channel where there's this guy with curly hair.
Right.
And he's like, I'm going to teach you what a verb is. And
Do
it
you
was
remember
like,
the name of the channel.
I don't remember. I wish I remembered. But it was like 6 hours every single day of me just like, you're not gonna find it. He's lost to time. He's lost to time.
This is a long time ago. It might come up.
It was such.
Yeah, but it was just absolutely torture of 6 hours a day, just learning English from some guy.
Wait, so you learned English from YouTube?
Well, that's the thing. I learned words from YouTube.
Right.
Okay.
He doesn't really teach you how to string sentences together.
Sure.
Yeah.
At the time, even before I came to America, there were a lot of shows that I had watched that were already in English. There was I saw the Dragon Ball dub. That was a huge part of my childhood. And there was also
you didn't watch. There wasn't like a local Asian dub.
Oh no, there were absolutely local Asian dubs. Yeah. But when you live in like, I don't know, back then the situation was we didn't have a lot of money at all, so everything we got was illegal. Yeah. like the games that I was playing was on like one shared family computer, and it was all ROM hacks.
Like bootleg stuff, right?
And the
I mean, the same for me.
Same for me.
And the DVDs and Blu-rays people would bring home were just also like counterfeit shit. Yeah. So it was like a disc with like a banana on it. And then it would have in Sharpie like Dragon Ball episode 27. And when I was young, I thought how it worked was that if you just grab any disc and you write what you want on it,
it just magically becomes that.
So I was like, I like snuck into my mom's room. I took a disc. I'm like, Dragon Ball episode 47. I put that shit in the DVD player. Nothing.
It's like, why is it not Dragon Ball?
To be fair, CDs pretty much work like magic when you're
right.
You don't understand how laser engraving works.
No.
So I saw a lot of like, I saw Dragon Ball in like 4 different languages, and I was just rolling with it. I was like, it's the same to me.
You're a kid, you don't give a fuck what
Yeah,
exactly.
I was watching like Super Sentai, Kamen Rider on the Mr. Bean for some reason.
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean needs no language.
That is a silent film, basically.
Anything, yeah. And one of the first cartoons that they started airing in Asia was Ben 10.
Oh, so hell yeah.
That was like my introduction to like, oh, this is what English sounds like, kind of. Right. And Dragon Ball. And then when I came to America, I remembered I got into a lot of trouble because we didn't have cartoons on the go in Asia. So in America, I was like, what is on demand? And I started watching that shit like crazy. And then like the next day, I think like my stepdad's mom found out that I was using on demand, and they were like, just cost us $50 watching, what is this, SpongeBob SquarePants? And I'm like, sorry.
I mean, money well spent if you ask me.
Yeah, so I watched a bunch of cartoons, a bunch of like anime dubs, and that's kind of how I started to learn English and put together how people spoke.
Yeah. But that's wild that like you started learning English at a pretty like relatively later stage in your life for you to then voice all of these roles.
Considering the career you have now.
That is kind of a crazy
That's wild, bro.
Now that I think about it. Yeah.
Did you move to Canada for a while? Or?
I did. When I was around like middle of high school, I moved there, and that's kind of when I became independent. I started living alone at the age of 14. And
wait, what?
Yeah.
Damn, that's like some anime pro tag shit.
Well, that's what it was. I could get into it, but it's really weird. It was like Canada was like a different land. It felt like being in the Twilight Zone.
Wait, you gotta expand on that.
No.
Every Canadian watching was like,
it was like I lived in Vancouver, so the population is mostly Asian people.
Yeah.
When I came to Vancouver, I was like, oh fuck,
because you want to be around non-Asians.
It's like the expectation for Asian kids is that they're really academically like up there. And they're super smart. And I'm like, I'm gonna be the dumbest piece of shit there.
We were like, bro, I just learned English,
man.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I just learned how to speak. Now I'm gonna get like bodied and everything else. But when I moved there, for some reason, their curriculum was like super easy to me. And I think the way it was is because they're very easy on the grading.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like 100 to 80 is an A, 80 to 70 is a B. And for some reason, their curriculum was like 2 years behind what I was doing in America. And I was doing like AP, advanced placement stuff.
I think that means nothing to all of us.
Yeah.
We don't.
So my Americans will know. But when I came to Canada, it was a surreal experience because my parents had basically left me alone because they had other obligations.
Sure.
Right.
So I was living alone right next to my school. It was about a 2-minute walk. And I would just walk to school, do my stuff, go home, make lunch, sometimes fall asleep, and then never show up to class. And
did you have a job back then, or were you just?
I did. I did some part-time jobs here and there just to make a little bit of money.
Sure.
But I also had like I was lucky enough to have family who knew somebody who had a place, and they were like, we can rent it to you for cheap. So it was
Okay.
They were renting to a 14-year-old?
yeah, it was like 400 Canadian dollars a month.
That sounds like it's
Jesus
breaking.
Christ.
That sounds like it's breaking a lot of laws.
Dude, the fucking Asians in Canada, they don't care.
I guess so. Yeah.
It's like, you're one of us.
Yeah.
Give me a maid rate.
In my head, I'm like, I just can't imagine an Asian man seeing a 14-year-old kid in his house, and he's like, 450. You look like you can get 450 together. Like that's crazy.